Food safety training videos. Food safety program developed and distributed by Food Safety Solutions. Safe hands for food handlers. The information contained in this video is a guideline only. Food safety training for new employees, level 1. It's for the newly joined employee in the organization or employee who has not done the food safety training till date. Welcome everybody. My name is Saji Alexander. This training will be carried out in stages during the course of your employment. The first stage of training is level 1, which will be done today. It takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour and will be followed by close supervision. Food is one of the most basic pleasures in life, and what other applies necessaries brings more happiness than a good meal with friends and family. But food has to be safe and to be truly enjoyable. The following was developed to teach food workers like you the basic of food safety, what you need to know to keep you and your customers safe. Food Safety Program. The goal of the Food Safety Program is to reduce the incidence of the foodborne illness. Foodborne illness is sometimes called food poisoning. As per a latest study, 28 cases of foodborne diseases happen per 10,000 population per year. 55% of the people are affected with foodborne diseases because of improper cooking and storage. 24% of the people are affected due to poor hygiene. 3% of the people are affected from unsafe food sources. Remaining, most of the food poisoning cases are unrecorded and unreported because people suffer mild symptoms and recover quickly. As outbreaks, a large amount of food is contaminated through mishandling during production, processing, transport, preparation, and storage. Let's see how, in the food premises, this goal is accomplished. It's by inspecting food premises by the food inspectors once or twice a year. Educating their owners and employees. The topics covered in this level are food safety, its functions and side effects, handling food temperature as a best practice, danger zone temperatures, different sources food pass through to consume, purchasing, storage, cooking, serving, personal hygiene, that is hygiene practice and unhygienic practice, hand washing techniques and when to wash hands, can you work near food area if you are sick? Cleaning and sanitation, pest control, and waste disposal. Let's start with food safety, its functions and side effects. What is food safety? Food safety means preparing, cooking, and storing the food in such a way keep free from harmful bacteria or toxins, which can make food unsafe to consume. Otherwise, food safety refers to the conditions and practices that preserves the quality of food to prevent contamination and foodborne illness. Food safety, its functions and side effects. How it functions. Food can be contaminated in many different ways. Some food products may already contain bacteria or parasites. The germs can spread during the packaging process if the food product are not handled properly. Failure to cook or store the food in the right way can cause further contamination. Properly handling and preparing food greatly reduces the risk of causing foodborne illness. Side effects. Poor food handling and inadequate food safety can cause infection. Symptoms of foodborne illness vary, but usually there are chances of illness like stomach cramps, headache, nausea, and vomiting or diarrhea. Foodborne illness may be severe and life-threatening, especially in young children, older adults, pregnant women, and people with weakened immune system. Next is handling food temperature, the best practice. Handle food as little as possible. Like on preparation, work with small batches and finish cooking. Or after cooking, divide the food from large container into smaller ones. This will keep food out of the danger zone. Because on temperature, most bacteria grow best around body temperature but will grow over a wide range of temperatures. 4 degrees Celsius or less, bacteria are not killed, but it is too cold for them to multiply. At 63 degrees Celsius or above, it is too hot for the bacteria to multiply. Store food correctly, such as store raw and cooked food separately. Cold storage temperature should be between 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. Frozen storage temperature should be below minus 18 degrees Celsius. Hot food temperature should be above or greater than 63 degrees Celsius and above. Next is danger zone. Let's see what is danger zone. The temperature danger zone is a range of temperatures between 4 and 60 degrees Celsius in which bacteria multiplies and other disease-causing microorganisms survive in this range. To avoid danger zone, the food should not be left outside unattended. If the food stays on danger zone level for longer hours, it has to be discarded. If food is not going to be served immediately or processed further, it must be cooled down between 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius as quickly as possible. If food is not going to be served or cooled immediately, it must be kept hot at 63 degrees Celsius or hotter. This temperature will prevent the growth of bacteria. This is typically done in ovens, steam tables, holding pots or chafing pans. Next is different sources food pass through to consume. Purchasing and receiving. Storage. Cooking. Serving. Personal hygiene, cleaning, pest control, and waste disposal. The consumer can be assured of safe food when best practice is followed at each step involved in the production and the service of the food. One way to think of how important each step is as being a link in the overall food safety chain. If the chain breaks due to poor food safety practices in one area, the entire chain falls apart and the food cannot be guaranteed as safe to eat. Go through the links in the chain. Purchasing and receiving. For purchasing, choose your supplier carefully. By choosing a reputable supplier, you are helping to ensure that the food is fresh, of good quality, and less likely to be contaminated or temperature abused. While receiving, few things to be careful. Check the temperature of delivered food. They must be the same temperature as your storage temperature. Use only grade A eggs, pasteurized milk products, and meat from inspected source. Check cans for dents and packages for leaks and tears. Check expiry or best before dates. Look for science and ensure that frozen food was and not thawed and refrozen. It means frozen product should be below minus 18 degrees Celsius while receiving it. It has to go straight to the freezer. Otherwise, if it's thawed, can't be refrozen again. Check product for signs of spoilage, insect and dirt. Check meat products for freshness, that is bright color, no odor. The second stage of food chain goes to storage. After delivery, the food items must be stored in the right area as soon as possible. Temperature control and the recording of temperature is important at this stage. Frozen food must be stored at minus 18 degrees Celsius. Refrigerators and refrigerator display units must be 4 degrees Celsius or cooler. Dry storage areas should be from 10 degrees Celsius to 21 degrees Celsius. Store raw and ready to eat or cooked food separately. Never store raw food above ready to eat or cooked food. This may cause the dripping from the raw food may contaminate the ready to eat or cooked food. Keep food covered all the times. Keep all the foods labeled. Rotate stock. First in, first out. New stock should be placed behind or under older stock. Store all food 15 centimeters, that is 6 inches off the floor to facilitate cleaning and deter pests. Next is cooking. Cooking takes food from refrigeration or freezer temperatures up through the danger zone to temperatures where bacteria are killed. The internal cooking temperature to remember for all foods except whole poultry is 75 degrees Celsius. Internal cooking temperature means the temperature inside the food, not the oven, grill or oil temperature. Use a calibrated probe thermometer and insert it into the thickness part of the food away from the bones. Cook stuffing separately, but if you prefer to stuff meat, make sure that the temperature of the stuffing also reaches 75 degrees Celsius or hotter. Cooking should be done in one continuous step with no partial pre-cooking. Avoid overloading ovens, fryers, as the heat may not penetrate into the food evenly. While cooking an item with different types of meat mixed together, cook to the highest required temperature. The Food Premise Regulation states minimum internal cooking temperature for some food, that is, for whole poultry, 82 degrees Celsius. For poultry other than whole, that is pieces and grounds, is 74 degrees Celsius. For ground meat other than poultry is 71 degrees Celsius. For pork whole, at 71 degrees Celsius, that is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And for fish, the minimum internal cooking temperature is 70 degrees Celsius. For convenience and simplicity, a good minimum internal cooking temperature to remember for all foods except whole poultry is 75 degrees Celsius. Next is serving. Whether the customers are served by servers or they serve themselves, steps must be taken to ensure that the food is not contaminated or temperature abused. Serving staff should not touch the business end of knives, forks, and spoons. Handle cups and glasses by the bottoms or handles, not by rims. Use gloves, tongs, or utensils to serve food. Self-service or buffet. Provide adequate spoons or tongs to reduce the temptation of the customer using their hands. Protect food with sneeze guards or other shielding in the buffet counter. Not mix the old and the new food items. Ensure proper hot and cold temperature is maintained on the buffet counter. Next is personal hygiene as a good practice. Before working in a food environment, staff should ensure that they take all the necessary steps so that they personally do not put the food at risk. They should demonstrate high standard of personal hygiene, personal cleanliness and clean uniform. Food handlers should wear light-colored clothing which will show dirt more readily, which may contain microorganisms. Light colors will also deter a food handler from wiping their hands on their clothing, an act which could cause cross-contamination. When clothing is visibly dirty, it is time to change it. The food premises regulation requires food handlers to wear clean outer garments. Regular hand washing. Hands are easily contaminated. The pores, crevices and folds in skin trap dirt and therefore microorganisms and are difficult to clean. Short nails and no nail varnish, because normal washing does not get under the nail. Nail polish should not be worn because it can chip off and get into food, and it may discourage an individual from using a nail brush to scrub. Jewelry should not be worn because it can trap dirt, fall off, and get caught on an equipment. Always cover cuts and burns. Hair should be kept covered and tidy. Headgear such as hairnet or hat must be worn by all food handlers. The food premises regulation says that food handlers must wear headgear that confines the hair. Avoid excessive use of perfume, deodorants, aftershave and makeup. Gloves for ready-to-eat food. Remember, disposable gloves can become contaminated just like bare hands. Therefore, gloves must be changed regularly and after each action, or else these may cause contamination. Unhygienic practices. Some people have personal habits which may be acceptable in their own home, but not while preparing food for other people. When working in a food area, you must avoid smoking, chewing, spitting, coughing, sneezing, tasting food with your finger. When tasting food, do it in such a way that microbes are not transferred from your mouth to the food. Include using a disposable spoon and throwing it out immediately. Handling food after touching your nose, skin, face and head. Opening bags by blowing on them. Not washing hands after using toilet. Hand washing after urinating or defecating is very important. You may be unaware that your hands are contaminated, as toilet paper is not an effective barrier and microorganisms can pass through it. A large portion of foodborne illness is spread through the fecal-oral route. This means that the organisms are found in the feces, and if spread to food and eaten, they can cause illness. Fecal spread of microorganisms can result in large outbreak of foodborne illness. Hand washing techniques. 6 steps. Hand washing is the single most important way to prevent the spread of diseases. Proper hand washing prevents the spread of microorganisms from one food to another, that is cross-contamination, and from your body to the food. The proper way of hand washing is: wet your hands with warm running water. Add liquid soap. Do not use bar soap. Rub your hands together to make a soapy lather. Do this away from the running water for at least 15 to 20 seconds. Being careful not to wash away the lather, rub your hands together, the fronts and the back of your hands, as well as thumbs, between your fingers and under your nails. Rinse your hands under warm running water. Dry your hands with a clean paper towel. Turn off the tap with the paper towel. This is a place where most of them make mistakes. That is, people throw the paper towel in the bin and close the tap with bare hands. The tap should be closed with using the paper towel. Hand washing in the kitchen must be done in a separate designated hand washing sink. This is to prevent contamination of sink and food or utensils that may be washed in them. This hand washing sink must be located close to where the food handling is performed in order to encourage its use. Now let's see when to wash hands. Handling raw food, touching hair, face, etc., sneezing or coughing, smoking or chewing gums, eating or drinking, cleaning, after handling money if at the counter, after going to the toilet or washroom. Next is, can you work near food area if you're sick? If you're working near food when you're sick, in particular if you have diarrhea or vomiting, you're putting the safety of food at risk. When you're ill, the body is producing and discharging even more pathogens than when they are healthy. People with symptoms such as diarrhea, vomiting, jaundice, persistent coughing or sneezing must not handle food or wash dishes. They must stay at home. Therefore, if you have diarrhea, then you must stay at home and you must not return to work until 48 hours after the diarrhea clears up. This is because while you may feel better, the microorganisms are still present in your body and could spread to the food. Do not work near open food and report to your supervisor if you are suffering from illness that affects the safety of food. Next is cleaning and sanitizing. Regular cleaning and sanitizing of all food contact surfaces is an essential step in controlling the number of microorganisms present in a food premise. Cleaning refers to the removal of dirt which may contain or hide microbes. Proper cleaning is accomplished with the use of detergents, that is soap, which help lift dirt off and keep it in the water. Damp wiping cloths provide the perfect place for the microorganisms to grow. Wiping with a dirty cloth just spreads bacteria around. launder them regularly and after they touch juices from raw meat. Sanitizing. Sanitizers are essential because they help to kill most of the organisms present. There are many different kinds of sanitizers available from many different manufacturers. The active ingredient in this sanitizer is usually one of the chemicals listed in the table, that is iodine, with a concentration of 25 parts per million and a water temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and a contact time of 45 seconds. Coming to chlorine, concentration of 100 parts per million with a water temperature of 24 degrees Celsius and a contact time of 45 seconds. One of the most readily available and cheapest sanitizer, which is the active ingredient, is bleach. To make a solution of 100 parts per million of chlorine, mix 10 ml, that is 2 teaspoons of bleach for every 4 liters of water. For chemical sanitizing, test strips must be available. Few points to be noted are: clean as you go. Kitchen staff must keep working areas and equipment clean and hygienic all the time. Proper method should be followed in the area of cleaning and sanitizing, as discard any food stuff or spoilage left on the work surface. Clean with soap solution and scrub. Clean with lukewarm water. Then use a sanitizer in the proportion mentioned. Food should always be placed on a clean surface. Use correct cleaning products and equipment. Store cleaning products in the cleaning store. Next is pest control. Insects and rodents are more than just gross. They are capable of spreading disease-causing organisms. Rodents and insects transport dirt and microbes on their feet, hairs and feces, all of which may end up in spoiling a food product. The premise for insect and rodent control is simple: deny them food and shelter. Once an infestation has started, it is very hard to contain it completely, so prevention is very important. As a food handler, you have the responsibility to report any signs of pests. Few points to be noted are: for rodents and insects, look for signs like footprints, droppings, webbing on packages, torn packages, etc. If you find any, report to the supervisor or in charge so that they can take immediate action. Screen doors and windows to keep flies out. Inform if you see holes in the premises. Check deliveries for infestations. Eliminate water and food sources. Fix leaky faucets and do not leave water in sinks or buckets. Rotate stock and use first in, first out. Keep food covered. Keep garbage covered. Coming to waste disposal. To prevent attracting pests, the correct waste disposal procedure should be followed. Use bins provided. When bins are filled, inform the kitchen steward to remove and clean it. Make sure waste bin is covered. Wash hands after handling waste. Let us revise what we have learned in today's session. Food safety, its functions and side effects. Handling food temperature as a best practice. Danger zone temperatures. Different sources food passed through to consume. That is purchasing, storage, cooking and serving. Personal hygiene. That is hygienic practice and unhygienic practices. Hand washing techniques and when to wash hands. Can you work near food area if you're sick? Cleaning and sanitation, pest control, and waste disposal.